Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. This is our last week. I think we're on like day 56 of our Healthy Mind and Body out of 60 days. So we are so close to the end, but the most important part of the program. So I just got done congratulating everyone for sticking with it and being here and doing the program. I want to introduce Michael Anderson tonight. If you have not had the pleasure of being trained with or by Michael, Michael is a phenomenal trainer, previous minister, teacher, and just music teacher, and just a really great motivational, inspirational man. And so Michael, lead us through the end of this session of the Healthy Mind and Body, please.
So I went through kind of a catharsis myself this time, and I want to throw some things that may not seem related together before I get to Healthy Mind and Body. One is, this is Are You Up for the Challenge by Rod Hairston. This was published in 2006. Hey, Daphne. This was published in 2006, and it's really the 6 steps that are in the Healthy Mind and Body program. It's the same 6 steps. This is a 45-day challenge that he wrote. It's a great book also to have in your library. But the 60-day program on Healthy Mind and Body is really an extension of this, but this is a great resource to go back to. Secondly, because of a fellow friend in the business, I got this Law of Attraction planner, because if you guys don't know me, I'm all about gratitude and Law of Attraction and The Magic by Rhonda Byrne and mindset. And this book has incredible stuff in it, like there's your roadmap, the Law of Attraction. It has pages like this, like how you're feeling, and then it gives you ideas of what to do, from raising your vibration to giving back. And it has action points and things to dwell on for the day. Incredible. It's from Freedom Mastery, and it's called the Law of Attraction Planner. And it has 50 goals for your life. It has create harmony in all areas of your life. So it's really holistic, like the Healthy Mind and Body. It's a great resource. I just want to share it because I find it's working for me. Here's another page. I'm still working on these, but like choose 5 goals. Choose 5 top goals from what you have listed that you want to achieve in 1 year. So what's great about this planner, it takes some time, and they actually have a website, and if you go to it and subscribe, it sends you daily emails to help you learn how to use this thing, because it can be overwhelming. But it basically gives you ideas on what things to write about that you value, that are important to you, that you want to change or that you want to grow in. And then it takes those ideas and it brings them down into, okay, now take those ideas and write your vision statement, your mission statement, write different goals and stuff. So it's a great resource that I just want to share. Next, in Target of all places, I wanted to see my uncle. I didn't have time to go to Barnes & Noble. I was near my uncle's house. I thought, well, see what Target has for journal, because I've been looking for a new journal for gratitude. This journal is by Knock Knock, and they have journals with different gratitude or I have to be me. They have a series of them, and each title is like this, and then the inside is related to. So for the gratitude, it has a quote every day and then a page to write your gratitudes. And I have to read this title. It's so funny. That's why I grabbed it. It says, okay, fine, I'm grateful, exclamation point. A journal to catapult me from my default position of griping and negativity to the long-resisted stance of counting my blessings, because it turns out that focusing on the positive actually might be better for my mind, body, and spirit, in no small part because unhappiness is the gap between expectations and reality. So even though this whole gratitude thing feels like a bandwagon on the woo-woo train, the fact is that deep down I'm ready to start looking at the roses rather than the thorns, and if you absolutely force me to admit it, I would say that in all actuality, I do have so very much to be grateful for. So, because sometimes when you're working on your gratitude, you're not in a mood of gratitude, and so that just really appealed to me. And I'm finding that putting those two together is working for me. as well as, of course, I read the Bible every day. I have a devotional called Jesus Calling, which really speaks to me. I know Stephanie reads from that. And then the Healthy Mind and Body and other things by Rod or other personal development coaches. But the writing the gratitudes and having something to help me plan towards my core values to stay in alignment, like the Law of Attraction Planner working for me. Okay, that's a long introduction for hopefully a quick teaching, and then I want to just hear where you guys are at. How many people here this evening have been, hi Tabitha, how many people this evening have ever done or are doing the Healthy Mind and Body program? Just by a show of hands, let me see who's been participating in it or has participated. Okay. So as you know, it's $40 for members. You got to pay a member fee of $29 if you haven't joined Isogenics, and then you have a $45 coupon for product once you finish. And I'll say this because I know, even if you don't complete it, yes, guilty, you still get that $45 credit when the 60-day is up. So even if you fail, because I have, this is my third time on it, or if you feel like, wow, I was tardy, 27 out of 60 days or whatever, you still get that coupon. So it's a win-win. Okay, so the 6-step process that Rod uses is, it's to help you focus on change that's lasting, because as you know, the ego's job is not to move you forward, it's to protect you from harm. The ego's real job, even though from the psychology classes we've had and pop culture, we hear that the ego is like a bad thing, that people who have a lot of ego, right, are selfish. But the ego's real job is to keep us from pain, and change is painful. So number one, Rod establishes that you have to have a strong and vivid vision. You have to know where you want to go and have the courage to write it out exactly, what you're looking to create. And then you have to capture it. And by the way, these notes are from day one of Healthy Mind and Body, from his video, just walking through the 6 steps. And from there, that's the foundation that lays the next 59 days. So these are the steps you'll be going through every day in some capacity. Some days you'll be doing them all, some days you'll be focusing more on certain ones. Step 2 is breaking old patterns. You have to realize you do things unconsciously. You eat unconsciously, you emote unconsciously, you behave unconsciously. You don't consciously think to eat, about what you're eating, about how you're moving, how you're hydrating yourself, all of the things that matter when it comes to being healthy. So you have to recognize what some of those habits are. And habits are physical, emotional, mental. I would add spiritual, and I believe Rod would agree with that, because, by the way, Rod always talks about enthusiasm, and theos means in God, and he always teaches on that, the Spirit of God acting in you. And the publisher of this book is Invictus, which basically means conquering. So he's all about a spiritual dimension as well. So your habits that are keeping you from moving forward, you need to, or more toward your vision, you need to keep them at the forefront. So you have to develop a psychology, a mindset, and an emotional power. And that ties totally in with the law of attraction, or mental toughness, or being 10 feet tall and bulletproof. We've heard it said a lot of ways, but you have to, and I just watched a thing I posted in Game Changers Biz from Tony Robbins that he talks about emotional power. You need to connect it to an emotion and feel it and sense it and act in it in the now, and it becomes real. Because as Rod says, what you focus on becomes real, what you focus on grows. So you need the psychology, mindset, and emotional power to maintain that long-term success when it comes to building that health vision. And you have to break those habits. Step 3 is building new habits. I kind of think of, I've never been to boot camp for the military, but it's kind of like you have to break yourself down before you can build yourself up. That's kind of this process here. And so building new habits, the action to build a habit and allow the habits to get the results for you. Because we're creatures of habits. And most people, this is so true, most people want to go from A to Z in one day. And the problem is it's going to take more than a day. And so how you figure out how to get there. And so skipping to step 4, you have to discipline your imagination. That's so true. Discipline your imagination. Focus on the things that matter and focus on what you can be. And by the way, discipline, we think of, spanking the bottom, discipline, kids at school being bad, discipline. But discipline comes from the word disciple. And disciples were people who followed their rabbis or their teachers to learn the wisdom they had so that they could become like them and become rabbis or teachers themselves. So disciplining your imagination, focusing on things that matter, and focusing on what you can be. Not what you are, but what you can be. So you need a strong why. Things that matter to you and people who matter to you. And yes, the past is there, but you need to not live in it. You need to go out into the future, but you need to be in the moment, in the now. So you can't live in the future, you can't live in the past. You have to live in the moment. Jesus said, let tomorrow worry about tomorrow. Today has enough worries of its own. What he was saying is, you can't live in coulda, woulda, shoulda in the past, and you can't live in the, well, if only I achieve this, then I'm happy. If only I can do this, only you can do that. Always looking for your fulfillment in the future. You have to live in the present, in the moment. Doesn't mean we don't set goals and we don't work towards them and we don't see ourselves in that in the present day to create those things and create that emotional power we need. Step 5 is roles and modeling. What roles do you play? What roles do you play? That's a tough question to really, if you really get real. What are you modeling for people around you? Are you a negative Nancy? Are you a black hole emotionally? Are you someone that you would want to be around? What are you giving to other people? My grandma Anderson used to drive me crazy when I would complain as a young adult or a teenager. She'd say, just get busy. And she's right, because when you just get busy, you take your mind off yourself. And usually when you just get busy, you're working on serving others. And that's the whole point to all of this personal development, is finding a place where you're saying, who can I bless today? Who can I serve today? How can I make a difference today? It's finding that selfless place, not less self, not thinking less of self, but thinking more of others. That's what selflessness is, thinking more of others. And there are plenty of models around you, from the Dalai Lama to network marketing people you would like to emulate, to athletes, whatever it is. You can find people that you would like to emulate in some way and study them and model them until you find your own skin. And then step 6 is taking risk, stepping outside your comfort zone. And that's where the rubber meets the road. Trust me, I know. Because it means being different. It means being vulnerable. It means being open for attack. It means being open for ridicule, for disparaging remarks, for people who you thought respected you, treating you in a way that's disrespectful, because it's like 2 drinking buddies at a bar, and one guy wakes up one day and says, you know what, I'm an alcoholic. I don't want to go to the bar anymore. And the other guy really isn't interested in his friend's sobriety. He's interested in getting his friend back to the bar so he has his friend to drink with again. So pushing past that status quo, you're going to have pushback from people who you value in your life, and you have to figure out how to handle that. So stepping outside of your comfort zone and being different. And most people fail because they're uncomfortable with their success, or rather the idea of success. They have a limiting belief up here that says, Michael's not worthy of this, so Michael's going to pull Michael back from this because Michael's not worthy, and that's getting outside of what I'm worthy of, so I won't go there. And that's the hardest thing, is overcoming our limiting beliefs to push into new areas of success, because the ego says, hold on, that's painful, so don't go there, right? I don't want you to be painful. So that's just a real snapshot of that first video and that first day in Healthy Mind and Body. And it's such a foundational day, and everything from that there grows with branches and leaves in all directions and roots. So now I'd like to hear from you guys. Any questions you have, but especially I'd love to hear where you're at in your journey, highs, lows, struggles, successes, because trust me, like I said, I didn't succeed. So I know that. And I know you can have days where you're not doing it and then you get back to it. And how do I catch up? And I mean, I know we've all been there. Life happens, as they say. So let's hear from some of you what your journey has been like.
Glenda put her camera on. She's ready to talk.
And you have to unmute yourselves if you want to speak, if you muted yourselves.
Well, I can break the ice. You know, I think I've done 4 of his programs, and with every one, I've encountered them all the same way, with high hopes that I'm going to be on it, I'm going to be on time, I'm not going to be late, I'm going to do my journaling every single day and really think about it and put it into practice. And each of the programs has not happened like that. But I've talked to them in between each one of them, and they're like, honestly, you don't have to do it every single day and on time and have those expectations. Just by doing the motions and doing something every day, whether you're thinking about it and then you make up for it, yeah, or, you know, you're putting those different things into practice, means that you're changing and means that you're going to receive the results. You know, if you can do it every single day and be on time, then, you know, huge kudos. But for most people, that is rather difficult. And they don't want us to beat ourselves up about that whatsoever. Just put as much of it into play and practice as we possibly can. So I've allowed myself a little bit of break, where the first couple the first one I did was Top Achievers, and we were put on teams of, I think, like 9 different top achiever leaders. And so you really couldn't be late on those days. You're running in your teams and you're competing against each other, and everyone's name is up there if you're on time, if you're not on time, and
wow,
the scores went down if someone was on time. And so that was pressure, and it was good pressure, of course. But so I did make those on time, but I found myself rushing through them just to get them done so that my name didn't appear as not doing it, not on time, and so on. You know, I looked correct, and I did give that look, but I didn't give that program all that I could possibly give it because of the rushing. So the other ones, the last one I did for the certification, you had to do it by Sunday. And I found myself rushing Friday, Saturday, Sunday to make sure that I got it done. Still not quite putting it, you know, into full practice. But again, thinking about it, I made every single call, which were an hour long with Molly. I participated in those calls, and I thought about it. And so this one, again, still haven't been on time, but there's been a lot of different clicks. It really has allowed me to understand inception so much more, to understand deception, to understand when I'm out of deception, to understanding transformation. And now I feel like I'm in identity. And I see the differences, and I know when I'm in it, and I know when I'm out of them. And I know when because you're going to dive back in deception or inception or whatever it is. Now I can recognize that. And I can recognize, is that an inception moment or is that identity? And know the difference between those two, because they can be, for myself, they can be very similar, because I get very excited about things. But can I get excited about something that's a long-term, long-haul, here forever kind of situation? And so it's been great having to go through all of these different ones and still knowing that I haven't done it perfectly. And thank you for your message earlier, Michael. It's hard to do it perfect, but the benefits that I've received have outweighed not doing it perfectly.
Absolutely.
That's my story.
I like that you had to do it every day because that kept me accountable.
Yeah.
And when my 60 days were done, then I suddenly felt like, what am I going to do? You know, because I was losing that. But the part that I really do enjoy now is that I mentally still can say, like, well, this was a positive thing today, or this is something that I feel proud of. And that part, I think, has stuck with me the most out of everything. But the part that I'm failing in is like that I don't go and I don't walk for an hour on the treadmill, or I don't do my exercises like I'm supposed to. And that's the part where I think I feel the most on, where I feel like, oh, I don't have that accountability again, where I was keeping track of, oh, okay, I did my push-ups, I did my lunges, I did my whatever, you know. So that's where I'm struggling right now on that exercise part.
Well, first of all, Sue, you are a rock star. I mean, did you hear what you just said? Doing an hour on the treadmill, doing your push-ups, doing your lunges.
I'm not doing it, though.
I know, but you were doing that. And so big kudos that you did do that. You know, and that's the struggle. And that's, you know, when this program ends, and I've done 4 of them, and with each of them, I have those same thoughts or the same situations of, now that I'm not doing this program, do I go back to old habits and all of that? And in some cases I have, but I'm hoping with this one, once this ends, that at some point, and hopefully now, that I don't, because now it's kind of become ingrained. And when speaking to one of his other counselors, he said for a lot of the programs, people do need to do it 3, 4, 5 times before it really becomes ingrained, so that you don't have to worry about being accountable to the program. You become accountable to yourself. It doesn't happen right away. But the great thing about this program is you can revisit those questions and your responses and redo your responses anytime you want. You own that program now.
Okay.
And that's a good thing to do, like a prayer journal or any other journal. It's good to go back and say, wow, there's a moment where I had a breakthrough, or wow, this is where I used to be. Look how far I've come now based on what I wrote then. So it's always great to go back and read through those things and see the progress and see those moments where there was a big aha moment, and see where there's a struggle and say, I'm not struggling there anymore. Anyone else want to chime in? We heard from Sue and from Stephanie.
Let's see. The only thing that I noticed that I do is I don't even use the reminders. I just do it on my own now. I don't even wait for it. Whether it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, whatever, you're like, oh, I'm going to do it, and I just do it then. So there's not even a needing the email reminder, nothing. So that part, I think, is ingrained for me at this point. So that's where I'm at right now.
Nice. And you can do it in the morning, like any kind of discipline that sets your mindset for the day. You can start it in the morning and end it in the evening. You can do it in the evening as well. There's days I'll just do it all, and when it says something you're proud of today or yesterday, there's mornings where I'll just plow through it all and think of what I did yesterday, and there's days I'll divide it and say, this really feels like something I need to reflect on tonight. And you get to set your time zones too. A lot of people don't know that, oh, I have to do Arizona time zone or whatever. You can play with the time zone a little bit, and it gives you, I think it's 2 opportunities when you start within that first week and go, oh, no, I really need to reboot. I need to start together on time and stay with it. It gives you 1 or 2 opportunities to reset that start date within that first week before you're locked in also. So like you subscribe on Saturday, you don't have to start it on Saturday. You can set it up for next Saturday or for Friday, and then you might decide, oh, that didn't work Friday, I'm going to start Monday. It gives you a couple of chances to reset that as well.
Am I muted? Oh, maybe I'm not muted.
No.
I can't see myself, so I didn't know if you could hear me.
Yeah.
This was my first time doing Healthy Mind and Body. And I've always been a huge fan of self-development and being the best version of me. And I think this was an awesome way to help me do that on a daily basis. I actually had read Rod's book, Are You Up for the Challenge, when I was on vacation before the program began, which was great because even though that didn't require me to go through the program, it was kind of almost like I did without, being daily accountable. So then when the program started, I felt like I had a good understanding of what was to come. But I love it. And I think every day we just get better.
Awesome. Thanks. One thing I got into summer before last that I'm going to go back to that I found valuable to kind of focus me, especially now that I have that gratitude book and the law of attraction planner and other things like Healthy Mind and Body, is Les Brown. He said, these are what you ask yourself every morning. Who am I? What's my purpose? What do I want? What am I grateful for? So just kind of focus your mindset every day. I'm going to go back to that. Who am I? What's my purpose? What do I want? And what am I grateful for? Because gratitudes are great, but they need to focus you towards something also, ultimately. You need to take that emotional energy and do something with it. And if you write, who am I? One day you might say, I am a left-hander. I am the son of Bob and Jody Anderson. One day you might say, I am a child of the King. I am a child of God. I am made from the essence of stardust. I am divine in nature. Whatever you come up with every day, that's going to speak to your spirit. So who am I? What's my purpose? What do I want? And what am I grateful for? And kind of like that law of attraction journal, taking a lot of great ideas you write down and then funneling it down so you can distill it and filter it into a more perfect statement so that you can dwell on that. Those are good questions to ask yourself every day. Well, we have about 4 minutes left. Are there any other wrap-up questions or thoughts that you'd like to share or ask?
Yes, I have a question. This is Teresa.
Yeah.
Has anyone taken that second program that we can sign up for this week?
The Growth You?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
Stephanie, you've done that course, right?
I have. Yeah, that was the first one I started with. Has anyone else done it?
I'm signing up for it, but I obviously have to wait until I finish this one.
Okay. That was the one that was from Top Achievers, and that one, it really did blow my mind. Who knows if it was the initial program? I think it really is their flagship program. I just asked them for some donations, and that's the one that they're donating. So I think that really is the one that there's a lot of energy put into that program. It's 45 days, so it's a little bit less in time. But my husband and I did it together, and we really worked hard to do it on time every day. You have different things that you need to do with that program that are very things that you're going to remember. And I know Linda had to deal with me during this time period, but I had to do different things like sit in a chair for 5 minutes and not move, or stare at a pencil for 5 minutes and then come back and write every single thing about that pencil that I could remember. Or lay on the floor and not fidget. And if I did fidget, I had to start the clock all over again for 5 minutes and come back. And so what he was teaching, though, during that time period was how to be able to focus, how to be able to get rid of those negative thoughts. It's how to be able to just turn off your thoughts and be able to come back to what you need to be present with. He also taught us how to be present with people, and those lessons stick with me today, and that was 2 years ago. But I remember the videos, I remember his words, I remember the exercises, I remember how I felt when I had to do that. And it's taken me to a place where if I'm at lunch with someone, and even if I feel like I need my phone just because of my kids or something like that, or if I want to take pictures, if I have my phone out, I feel guilty because I'm not totally 100% present with the person that I'm with. And I would not have realized that without going through that program. It really eats at me nowadays. If I'm not 100% engaged, I know that. And I know that I want to do everything to be 100% engaged. It also brought me closer to my family, that present situation, and really helped me learn what I needed to do for my different roles that you mentioned, Michael. What did I need to do to be better at every one of those roles? So I really appreciated that program. I feel that that really made a huge difference to me. And all of these have kind of added up together. And I believe all of them have given me this really nice synergy and balance. But that's the one I started with, and I appreciated that one a lot.
Nice. Well, we have less than 1 minute. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for sharing your journeys and wisdom. And look forward to seeing you guys on the next Zoom call, whatever the topic is.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
You guys have a great evening.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Take care.
Michael.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
You
Bye,
too.
Sue.
Good night.